Let me tell you something today. You have the power to live above the noise, above the frustration, and above the anger. You don't have to let what other people say, do, or even think disturb your peace. There's a place of calm, a place of strength that no one can take from you unless you hand it over. Peace is a gift, but it's also a choice. It's not something that happens by accident, and it's not something that depends on the actions of others. Too often we tie our sense of calm and well-being to the behavior of the people around us. If someone is kind to us, we're at ease. If they're rude or disrespectful, we lose our peace. But here's the truth. Your peace doesn't belong to anyone else. It doesn't depend on how others treat you, what they say, or what they do. Your peace is yours to protect. And when you root yourself in it, you can rise above anything life throws your way. We all encounter situations that challenge our peace. Moments where someone's words or actions seem designed to provoke us. Maybe it's a coworker who's always complaining, a family member who's critical, or a stranger who's just having a bad day. It's easy to think, if only they would act differently, I wouldn't feel this way. But the problem with that mindset is that it puts your happiness in someone else's hands. You're giving away your power, allowing others to dictate how you feel. Staying rooted in your own peace means choosing not to let external chaos disrupt your inner calm. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a storm. The winds are howling, the rain is pouring down, but deep inside, you're steady, unshaken. That's what it means to be rooted in peace. You acknowledge the storm, but you don't let it consume you. You choose to stand firm, grounded in something stronger than the temporary chaos around you. The key to this is understanding that other people's actions are not your responsibility. You can't control how someone else behaves, but you can control how you respond. When you make the decision to protect your peace, you're saying, I refuse to let someone else's negativity pull me down. Their bad mood doesn't have to become your bad mood. Their stress doesn't have to weigh on your shoulders. You can acknowledge their struggles without letting them take over your spirit. This doesn't mean you ignore challenges or pretend everything is perfect. It means you approach life with a sense of inner strength and clarity. When someone tries to drag you into their chaos, you don't have to join them. You can choose to stay calm, to rise above, and to respond with grace. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, this doesn't define me. I don't have to engage. Think of it like a tree with deep roots. No matter how strong the winds blow, the tree stands firm because its roots are grounded. Your peace is your root system. The deeper you anchor yourself in it, the less likely you are to be shaken by external forces. And here's the beautiful thing. When you stay rooted in peace, you actually create a ripple effect. Your calmness can inspire calmness in others. Instead of getting pulled into their chaos, you might just pull them into your peace. Life is full of distractions, full of opportunities to lose your temper or get worked up over things that in the grand scheme of things don't matter. But every time you choose peace, you're taking a step toward a better, freer version of yourself. You're saying, I value my joy too much to give it away. I value my energy too much to waste it on things I can't control. When you root yourself in your own peace, you find that life becomes lighter. You're no longer carrying the weight of other people's opinions, moods, or mistakes. You're free to live with joy, to focus on what truly matters, and to be the best version of yourself. No one else can take that peace from you unless you allow it. And when you make the decision to protect it, you'll discover a strength and serenity that can carry you through anything. One of the greatest freedoms you can ever experience is the realization that other people's actions are not about you, they're about them. How someone behaves or treats others is a direct reflection of what's going on inside their heart and mind. Yet, So many of us spend precious time and energy internalizing other people's negativity, thinking it's somehow a measure of our worth. But here's the truth. What others do or say is not a mirror of who you are. It's a mirror of where they are on their journey. When someone is rude, dismissive, or critical, it can be tempting to take it personally. We might start questioning ourselves, wondering if we've done something wrong or if we're not good enough. But that's not the case. Their actions are rooted in their own struggles, insecurities, or frustrations. People project what's inside them onto the world around them. If someone is carrying anger, they tend to express anger. If they're full of kindness and peace, that's what they share. What they choose to put out into the world is a reflection of their state of mind, not your value. Think about it when you're having a great day, when your heart is full of gratitude and joy. How do you treat others? You're patient, kind, and forgiving, aren't you? That's because what's inside you overflows into your interactions. But on the flip side, when you're stressed, tired, or frustrated, it's easier to snap at someone or be short-tempered, even if they've done nothing wrong. It's not about them. It's about how you're feeling in that moment. The same is true for everyone else. Understanding this can set you free from a lot of unnecessary pain. If someone cuts you off in traffic, snaps at you in a meeting, or makes a hurtful comment, it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of what they're carrying. Maybe they're dealing with pressures you don't see. Maybe they've been hurt in ways you can't imagine. Or maybe they're simply having a bad day. Whatever the reason, their behavior is about them, not you. When you truly grasp this, you stop letting other people's actions control your emotions. You don't have to take ownership of their negativity or let it weigh you down. Instead, you can step back, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, this isn't about me. That simple shift in perspective can change everything. It allows you to respond with grace instead of reacting in anger or hurt. It gives you the strength to keep your peace intact no matter what's going on around you. This mindset doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior or allow others to treat you poorly. It means you don't take it to heart. You set boundaries where needed, but you don't let their actions determine your worth or dictate your mood. You rise above it because you understand that their negativity doesn't define you. When you realize that people's actions are a reflection of them, it also opens the door to compassion. Instead of seeing someone as rude or mean, you start to see them as someone who might be hurting or struggling. You recognize that their actions are a symptom of something deeper, and you can choose to respond with empathy instead of judgment. That doesn't mean you have to fix their problems or tolerate mistreatment. It simply means you choose to see the humanity in them, even when it's hard. At the end of the day, you can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. And when you choose to separate their actions from your sense of self, you reclaim your power. You're no longer at the mercy of their moods or choices. You're free to live with confidence, knowing that your value isn't determined by anyone else. Their actions may reflect where they are, but your response reflects who you are. And when you choose peace, grace, and understanding, you show the world and yourself that you are rooted in strength that cannot be shaken. Your heart is one of the most precious parts of who you are. It's where your dreams, your joy, and your sense of purpose reside. It's the core of your being, the place where your true self lives. That's why it's so important to guard it, to protect it from anything that could weigh it down or pull it away from peace and positivity. Life is full of challenges, and negativity will try to creep in from all directions through criticism, disappointment, or even the stress of daily living. But you have the power to decide what you allow into your heart and what you leave at the door. Negativity is like a seed. If you let it take root in your heart, it doesn't stay small, it grows. A single harsh word can turn into self-doubt. A frustrating encounter can turn into bitterness. A setback can spiral into a sense of defeat. That's why it's so important to be vigilant about what you allow to linger in your spirit. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how much power you give it over your heart. Guarding your heart starts with awareness. It's about recognizing when negativity is trying to settle in and choosing not to let it stay. Maybe someone made a critical comment and you find yourself replaying it in your mind, letting it chip away at your confidence. Or perhaps a challenging situation left you feeling frustrated, and that frustration is starting to seep into your attitude toward other things. In those moments, you have the choice. You can let the negativity grow, or you can take a step back and remind yourself, this doesn't belong in my heart. One of the most effective ways to guard your heart is to focus on what's good. When you fill your spirit with gratitude, kindness, and positivity, there's less room for negativity to take hold. It's like filling a glass with clean water. There's no space for anything else. Start each day with a moment of gratitude. Reflect on the blessings in your life, no matter how small they may seem. When you intentionally focus on what's good, you strengthen your heart's defenses against negativity. Another way to guard your heart is to set boundaries. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay, and not every situation deserves your energy. If someone is consistently negative or draining, it's okay to limit your interaction with them. If a particular environment brings you down, seek ways to remove yourself from it or shift your perspective while you're there. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about protecting the peace and positivity within you. It's also important to be mindful of your inner dialogue. Sometimes the most damaging negativity doesn't come from others. It comes from ourselves. That voice in your head that says you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, or that things will never get better. Those are lies, and they don't belong in your heart. When those thoughts arise, challenge them. Replace them with affirmations of truth and encouragement. Remind yourself of your worth, your resilience, and your ability to overcome. Guarding your heart doesn't mean ignoring the reality of life's challenges or pretending that everything's perfect. It means choosing how you respond to those challenges. It means just deciding that no matter what happens, won't let it steal your joy or your hope. When you guard your heart, you're saying, I'm protecting what matters most. I'm not giving away my peace to things that don't deserve it. The truth is, your heart is too valuable to be weighed down by negativity. It's meant to be a place of light, love, and strength. When you guard your heart, you create a space where positivity can flourish, where dreams can grow, and where you can live with a sense of freedom and purpose. Negativity will always try to find its way in, but when you stand firm and protect your spirit, you'll find that nothing can take away the peace and joy that are rightfully yours. Grace is one of the most powerful tools you have in your life. It's the ability to remain calm, composed, and kind, even when situations or people push you to the edge. Responding with grace is not about being passive or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing to rise above, to act thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. When you respond with grace, instead of letting emotions take over, you don't just change how you feel, you change the energy of the situation itself. It's amazing to see how things can shift when you bring grace into the equation. Life is full of moments that test you. Someone cuts you off in traffic. A coworker takes credit for your work. Or a loved one says something hurtful in the heat of the moment. The natural reaction is to get defensive, snap back, or hold on to resentment. But while reacting might feel satisfying in the moment, it rarely leads to anything good. It often escalates the situation, leaving both you and the other person feeling worse. Grace, on the other hand, diffuses tension. It allows you to step back, take a breath, and respond in a way that reflects the best version of yourself. When you respond with grace, you're not excusing bad behavior or letting others walk over you. You're choosing to handle the situation in a way that maintains your peace and dignity. Grace says, I don't have to stoop to this level. I can address this calmly without anger or bitterness. It's not about ignoring the problem. It's about approaching it from a place of strength rather than weakness. So instead of just rejecting of the deal and pushing it away, grace gives you control, not over the other person, but over yourself, which is the only thing you can truly control. One of the keys to responding with grace is learning to pause. In the heat of the moment, your emotions can run high, and it's easy to say or do something you might regret later. But when you pause, even for a few seconds, you give yourself a chance to think. You create space to consider the bigger picture and to ask yourself, what kind of outcome do I want from this situation? How can I respond in a way that reflects my value? That small moment of reflection can make all the difference. Responding with grace also requires empathy. When someone lashes out or behaves poorly, it's often because they're dealing with their own struggles or pain. That doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you see them with compassion rather than judgment. Grace allows you to say, I don't know what they're going through, but I'm not going to let their negativity pull me down. Empathy doesn't mean you have to agree with them or tolerate disrespect. It simply means you choose not to take their actions personally. Another important aspect of grace is forgiveness. When you hold on to anger or grudges, you're only hurting yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning what happened. It means freeing yourself from the burden of resentment. It's about saying, I'm not going to let this situation control my heart, my mind any longer. When you choose forgiveness, you're choosing peace, not just for the other person, but for yourself. What's incredible about responding with grace is how it can transform relationships and situations. When you refuse to engage in negativity, it often takes the wind out of the other person's sails. Your calmness can inspire calmness in them. Your kindness can soften their attitude. Even if they don't change immediately, you've planted a seed. And if the situation doesn't shift, your grace still protects your peace and integrity. Grace is a gift, not just to others, but to yourself. It's a way of saying, I value my peace too much to let this situation steal it. I choose to respond in a way that aligns with who I am. The more you practice responding with grace, the more natural it becomes. And as you see how it shifts situations, strengthens relationships, and deepens your own sense of peace, you'll realize just how powerful it truly is. You have the ability to bring light into even the most challenging moments simply by choosing grace over reaction. Life is full of moments that try to pull our attention in a million directions. Challenges arise, frustrations pop up, and distractions creep in, demanding our energy and focus. It's easy to get caught up in the noise and lose sight of what truly matters. But when you take a step back and keep your perspective focused on the bigger picture, you realize that many of the things that seem urgent or overwhelming in the moment are really just temporary distractions. They don't deserve the power to dictate your mood, derail your progress, or steal your peace. The bigger picture is your purpose, your goals, and the life you're building for yourself. It's the vision of who you want to be and the legacy you want to leave behind. Keeping your eyes on the bigger picture means refusing to let small setbacks or temporary frustrations throw you off course. It's about staying grounded in what's truly important and recognizing that most of the challenges you face today won't even matter in a week, a month, or a year. Think about how often we let minor inconveniences take over our day. Maybe someone cuts in front of you in line and you stew about it for hours. Maybe a project at work hits a snag and you find yourself spiraling into frustration. Or maybe someone says something critical and you replay it in your mind, letting it chip away at your confidence. In those moments, it feels like these issues are monumental, but when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, you see them for what they are, small, fleeting distractions. Staying focused on the bigger picture doesn't mean ignoring your responsibility. It means approaching them with perspective. It's asking yourself, will this matter in the long run? Is this worth my energy? Does this align with my purpose? When you filter your experiences through these questions, you can prioritize what truly deserves your attention and let go of what doesn't. You reclaim your energy for the things that move you forward instead of letting it be drained by things that hold you back. One of the most powerful ways to maintain a focus on the bigger picture is to practice gratitude. When you're grateful for the blessings in your life, the people you love, the opportunities you have, the progress you've made, it becomes easier to let go of temporary frustrations. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what's wrong to what's right, from what's missing to what's abundant. It reminds you of the good in your life and helps you stay anchored in a sense of purpose and positivity. Another way to keep your focus is to remind yourself of your long-term goals and values. When you're clear about what matters most to you, it becomes easier to navigate distractions. For example, if your goal is to build a fulfilling career, you won't let a rough day at work make you question your abilities. If your priority is to nurture strong relationships, you won't let a minor disagreement with a loved one overshadow the bond you share. Clarity about your purpose allows you to rise above the temporary and stay aligned with what truly matters. It's also important to cultivate patience. The bigger picture often requires time to unfold. Success, growth, and meaningful change don't happen overnight. Along the way, you'll encounter detours, delays, and challenges. But when you stay focused on the long-term vision, you can face those moments with patience and resilience. You understand that they're just part of the journey, not the destination. Perspective is a powerful tool. It allows you to see beyond the immediate and focus on the enduring. It reminds you that life is too short to get bogged down by things that won't matter in the grand scheme of things. The bigger picture is where your joy, peace, and purpose live. When you choose to focus on it, you free yourself from the weight of temporary distractions and align yourself with a life that's meaningful and fulfilling. So when life throws challenges your way, take a deep breath and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Remember that you're building something greater than this moment, something that can't be shaken by small frustrations or fleeting setbacks. Keep your eyes on your purpose, your heart on what truly matters, and your spirit rooted in the belief that the best is yet to come. By staying focused on the bigger picture, you'll navigate life with clarity, confidence, and a peace that no distraction can take away. True joy is one of the most powerful forces in life. It's not something you find in material possessions, fleeting successes, or the approval of others. Those things might bring moments of happiness, but they're temporary, and they can disappear as quickly as they came. Real, lasting joy comes from within, a deep, unshakable sense of peace and contentment that isn't tied to circumstances. It's a joy that's rooted in who you are, not in what's happening around you. And when your joy comes from within, no one and no situation can take it away. Too often we look for joy in external things. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, when I buy that house, or when people recognize my worth. But the truth is, if your joy depends on something outside of you, it will always be fragile. Circumstances change, people disappoint, achievements lose their shine. If your happiness is tied to those things, you'll find yourself on a constant roller coaster, up one moment and down the next, at the mercy of things you can't control. When your joy comes from within, it's steady and unwavering. It's not dependent on how someone treats you, how much money you have, or whether life is going exactly the way you planned. It's a joy that says, no matter what's happening around me, I know who I am, I know my worth, I know that I'm enough. This kind of joy isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to hold onto peace and gratitude, even in the midst of difficulties. One of the keys to cultivating inner joy is to focus on what truly matters. Joy doesn't come from chasing after things that are shallow or fleeting. It comes from living a life aligned with your values, nurturing meaningful relationships, and finding purpose in what you do. When you focus on the things that fill your heart and soul, you create a foundation of joy that can't be shaken by the ups and downs of life. Gratitude is another powerful way to nurture joy from within. When you take time to appreciate the blessings in your life, the people you love, the beauty around you, the small moments of peace and laughter, You create space for joy to grow. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what's missing to what's present, from what's wrong to what's right. It reminds you that joy doesn't come from having everything you want. It comes from appreciating everything you have. Letting go of the need for validation is also essential to finding joy within. When you depend on others to make you feel valued or appreciated, you give them power over your happiness. But when you know your worth and find fulfillment in being true to yourself, you take back that power. You don't need someone else's approval to feel good about who you are. You can find joy in simply being yourself, knowing that you're enough just as you are. Another important aspect of inner joy is resilience. Life isn't always easy and challenges will come, but when your joy is rooted within, you can face those challenges with strength and hope. You understand that hard times are temporary and they don't define your life. Even in the midst of difficulties, you can find moments of peace and gratitude. You can remind yourself that joy isn't about the absence of struggles. It's about finding light in the middle of them. When your joy comes from within, it also becomes a gift to others. People can feel it when you're at peace with yourself. Your joy becomes contagious, lifting the spirits of those around you. You become a source of light and positivity, not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you've chosen to find joy in the imperfection. You inspire others to look within themselves and discover their own unshakable joy. The beauty of inner joy is that it's always available to you. It doesn't depend on circumstances, and it can't be taken away by anyone else. It's a choice you make every day, a choice to focus on what's good, to live authentically, and to appreciate the blessings in your life. When you let your joy come from within, you become unshakable. You can face life's challenges with peace, knowing that your happiness isn't tied to what happens to you, but to the strength and gratitude you carry in your heart. Joy from within is the kind of joy that lasts, the kind that sustains you through every season of life, and the kind that no one can ever take away.